Today's Steelers Talk video is sponsored by HexClad. Get 10% off some premium cookware today at hexclad.com/chatsports. And welcome in to Steelers Talk. And on today's show, I'm going to be talking about Patrick Surtain and why the Pittsburgh Steelers are probably not going to make him a Pittsburgh Steeler moving forward. Also, I'm going to tell you whether or not the Steelers will trade for Justin Simmons. That's been a recent rumor thrown around lately. And then also, Patrick Peterson has a new role in Mike Tomlin's defense. It seems like Tomlin, Taylor Lawson, they've made an adjustment here on defense with Patrick Peterson. Going to let you know what that is later in today's show, so make sure you stick around. Before we get into today's news and rumors action, make sure you click that thumbs up icon and like today's video. It really does help us out here at Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. Tells the YouTube algorithm to push this video out to other Steelers fans like yourselves. So with that, let's get into today's action, starting with Patrick Surtain, who is definitely the number one name that's thrown around the most in Steelers Twitter right now, and definitely the intrigue is there, right? Somebody that was a really highly touted guy out of Alabama coming out a few seasons ago, somebody that was one of the highest graded corners in the National Football League last year, and people are thinking, hey, let's pair Patrick Surtain up with Joey Porter Jr. for the next decade and really lock up the cornerback spot. However, I'm not sure it's going to happen, guys, and here are some of the reasons why. Patrick Surtain right now is only 23 years old, and he is a bona fide star at the cornerback position, a true lockdown number one corner right now, still on his rookie contract. So you combine all those things, you get an extremely valuable trade asset for the Denver Broncos. And Denver's going to be rebuilding. I mean, having a guy like Patrick Surtain as their number one guy in that secondary is going to be so important for them to try to get back to their winning ways. And I really don't think that they're going to trade him for anything less than 2 first-round picks. The Steelers also would probably want to keep their first-round picks moving forward to keep their options at quarterback. Now, before you crucify me for even suggesting that the Steelers will replace Kenny Pickett next offseason, I understand that he played better against the Rams last week, but overall this season, these numbers are inescapable. The catchable percentage, 35th in the National Football League. He's one of the least accurate quarterbacks to this point. He's 28th in on-target percentage, which is a little bit better, but still not great. The big-time throw percentage sitting at just 3.1, which is 24th in the league. He's doing a decent job at staying away from turnovers with 15th in turnover-worthy play percentage, but then an overall value. Right now, out of 36 quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett is the least valuable quarterback in the National Football League with at least 50 pass attempts right now with negative 11.1 points above replacement. That is just straight up garbage, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, am I giving up on Kenny Pickett to this point? No, not by any means. I think he played better against the Rams. I'm hoping that as the season goes on and with Deontay Johnson back in the lineup here, that Kenny's going to prove himself to be the franchise quarterback of this team. However, you have to keep in mind that there's a possibility that he just straight up stinks for the rest of the season. There is that possibility. And if that happens, you're going to want those 2 first-round picks that it's going to take to trade for Patrick Surtain to go and get a new quarterback, right? If you give up your first-round pick in 2024 and 2025, that significantly hinders your ability to go out and trade for a quarterback before the draft or trade up for a quarterback in the NFL draft. It's just going to be a lot harder to replace Kenny Pickett if you make a deal like this for a cornerback. So although I like the idea of going out and getting a guy like Patrick Surtain who would make the Steelers defense pretty much unstoppable at this point, I don't think the price is worth it for the Steelers, and I don't think Pittsburgh is really going to consider Patrick Surtain a legitimate trade candidate here or a trade target for them as Tuesday's deadline approaches. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Would you trade 2 first-round picks to get Patrick Surtain in the black and gold? Type A if you're accepting this if you're Omar Khan, or type D if you're going to decline it. This is also going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Now, another name on the Denver Broncos that has been thrown around Steelers Twitter in terms of a trade target over the last couple of days is free safety Justin Simmons, and even Sports Illustrated has predicted that the Steelers will go out and trade for Simmons before Tuesday's deadline. Their projection here is that the Steelers will send a 3rd-round pick to the Denver Broncos for Justin Simmons, one of the best free safeties in the National Football League. And this is what Sports Illustrated's author Connor Orr has to say about this potential trade. While this may seem odd, given that the Steelers are settled at the position, Simmons could break open the defense and allow all of its component parts to spread their wings. Safeties are valuable, especially rangy ones, in a division where the more physical the secondary, the better its chances of survival. Pittsburgh is not one offensive upgrade away from becoming an elite offense, but Simmons could get the Steelers to the territory where, if Pittsburgh makes the playoffs as a low seed, it would have a better chance of completely upending an opponent by showing them something they haven't shown them all season, or simply overwhelming them with experience in the secondary and creating that critical turnover. So coming up here, I'm going to give you my thoughts on potentially trading for Justin Simmons. But before that, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at HexClad. You can get 10% off at hexclad.com/chatsports. And let me tell you, man, these pans are absolutely fantastic. HexClad has revolutionized the cookware industry with a hybrid pan that gives you all the convenience and cleanup of a nonstick, the versatility of your grandma's cast iron, and a lifetime warranty just in case you find a way to destroy them. Go to hexclad.com/chatsports for 10% off today. HexClad truly checks every single box when it comes to picking your cookware. They are metal utensil safe, dishwasher safe, and oven safe up to 500 degrees. But don't just take my word for it. Celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay uses HexClad in his very own home kitchen. This is what Gordon has to say about HexClad. The sear I can get with these pans is incredible with absolutely no stick. The temperature control is utter perfection, and the cleanup is effortless. I love using HexClad at home. And let me tell you guys something, man. These things are the sexiest pans on the market. This is my very own HexClad pan. I pan-seared steak on this baby just last night with my girlfriend, Cassie. And look at this thing. It looks like it's coming right out of the box. Super easy to clean. Looks brand new every time you use it. And by the way, I've made the best steaks of my life using this pan. Just ask Cassie. Don't score points at home today. It's time to stop ordering delivery food and start cooking like a big boy with HexClad today. Real cuisine isn't made in a microwave. It's cooked in a HexClad. So for a limited time only, get 10% off with our special link, hexclad.com/chatsports. That's 10% off at hexclad.com/chatsports. So when it comes to trading for a safety, Justin Simmons is not at the top of my list. There's a couple of different safeties that are more versatile, that can play in the box, that can play in the slot, that I'm more interested in than Justin Simmons. And safety overall is not a position that I'm really holding in that high of a priority. There's other positions I'd rather go get. But if Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin want to go get a safety, I'd rather have Jeremy Chinn and Xavier McKinney. Chinn is, of course, playing for the Panthers, and McKinney is currently with the New York Giants. And, you know, that begs the question, why not Justin Simmons? Why these guys over Justin Simmons? And the simple answer here is versatility. Right now, Justin Simmons is more of just a true free safety, somebody that roams out there, somebody that's more of a center field player, whereas Jeremy Chinn, those guys are bigger bodies. Those guys can play a hybrid linebacker role. They can play in the slot as a slot defender. You know, I think Justin may survive in the slot. He's probably not going to be more of a true strong safety. The versatility is not quite there. And then also, that's not even to mention that Justin Simmons' contract is completely undoable, in my opinion, for the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point. Right now, if you're the Steelers, you've got just under $3 million in available cap space for the 2023 season, and adding that $14.4 million base salary is just not going to be feasible for the Steelers this year, even if it does come at a prorated rate at the NFL trade deadline. And overall, when I look at this situation, I want Minkah Fitzpatrick to go back to playing free safety. So if I'm going to be adding somebody to come into this equation here, I want somebody that's going to be playing strong safety, somebody that's going to be playing slot corner at times, right? Because I want Minkah Fitzpatrick to be that true free safety, that ball hawk in the middle of the defense, and that's really where he's at his best. Minkah is definitely the best safety in football when he's allowed to F stuff up from the free safety position. Right now, the Steelers are using him more as a strong safety / slot corner, and he's good at that, but not quite as much. So the way I'm looking at it right now, if we're bringing in a safety, I don't want a free safety. I want a versatile chess piece here on defense, strong safety / slot corner / strong safety. All right, so now Speaking of the defense and speaking of role changes, because we've seen Minkah Fitzpatrick's role kind of change as the weeks have gone on. He's been going to play more free safety like he has in past years, to playing more in the box, to playing in the slot. And they're doing something very similar right now with Patrick Peterson, who has not had the best start to his 2023 campaign on the outside. We know this about Patrick Peterson. He just hasn't, he's looked a little old. He's looked a little slow to this point in the year. And right now the Steelers are kind of using him in a new role, which is the quote-unquote Cam Sutton role. He's playing more safety. He's playing more in the slot. He's still playing outside, but he's kind of playing everywhere. And, of course, that's what the Steelers did with Cam Sutton. And, you know, when you're going to have a player like this in this role, I definitely miss Cam Sutton at this point, guys. I really do, because I think Sutton does it better than Patrick Peterson, and he really isn't that much more expensive than Patrick Peterson. I know the Steelers got a little bit of a discount to bring Patrick Peterson in instead of re-signing Cam Sutton, but I would much rather pay the little bit of extra money for Sutton than Patrick Peterson at this point in their respective careers. With the Detroit Lions right now, Cam Sutton is getting a 67.0 PFF grade. That's actually the other Cam Sutton on the Seahawks, not the one on the Detroit Lions. So sorry for that graphic mix-up there. But right now, he's playing better than Patrick Peterson to this point. And by the way, Patrick Peterson is not the 38th ranked cornerback. He is the 88th ranked cornerback right now. So Sutton is way above Patrick Peterson at this point in his NFL career, in my opinion. And if all it took was just to give Cam Sutton a couple more $1 million, I probably would have done that. That's probably the biggest mistake that Omar Khan and the Steelers front office made this offseason, at least in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Should the Steelers have paid Cam Sutton that $11 million per season that Detroit gave him? Give me a yes or give me a no down there in the comments section, and let me know what you think. That'll be it for today's show, Steelers fans. Thank you so much for all of your support. For more Steelers news and rumors action throughout the week leading up to the NFL trade deadline, and if the Steelers make a move, we're going to be having a video. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now to not miss a thing.